Members of the Board of Education, Dr. Beckerman, faculty, staff, family members, and inductees, welcome to the 44th Annual Induction Ceremony for the Northern Highlands chapter of the National Honor Society. Last year's induction ceremony was scheduled to take place just days after schools in the state of New Jersey had to be closed as a result of the pandemic. So, tonight's induction ceremony will include students who were scheduled to be inducted into the National Honor Society last year, as well as students who were scheduled to be inducted this year. In total, 242 students will be inducted this evening. I would like to begin by taking a moment to describe how tonight's inductees were selected for membership in the National Honor Society. The member selection process occurs twice annually, once in the fall for seniors and once in the winter for juniors. Students with a 3.80 or higher GPA are considered for membership. Students must also demonstrate excellence in the domains of character, service, and leadership, in addition to having a high GPA. Candidates are required to complete a detailed application replete with evidence of participation in school events and activities, leadership abilities, as well as character. Our assistant principal, Mr. Koth, also verified that each candidate demonstrated good citizenship and integrity during their time at Northern Highlands. I'd like to thank the Faculty Council, who's tasked with reviewing each candidate's application. Faculty Council consists of Mrs. Laura Rakozak, Mr. Tom Buono, Mrs. Kelly Peterfriend, Dr. Tony Laraca, and Ms. Tracy Vogel. On behalf of the Faculty Council, they were thoroughly impressed with the ways students found to remain involved and engaged during this difficult time during this pandemic. I can assure you that all of tonight's inductees demonstrated excellence in all 4 domains of the National Honor Society. After being selected by the Faculty Council, each candidate received a welcome letter from me, and they also received a pledge that they signed as well as their parents signed, in which they agreed to remain actively engaged in the National Honor Society and also to continue to uphold the high standards by which they were selected. I'm confident that the inductees who will enter our society officially tonight will continue to serve both the school and the local communities during the remainder of their time at Northern Highlands. Tonight is a celebration of accomplishment, but it's also an opportunity to consider the future. Candidates, each of you has experienced some degree of success in your life thus far. That you were selected for membership in the National Honor Society is a testament to that. But this year has taught us that there will sometimes be moments in life in which we encounter unexpected obstacles. And so whether you're preparing to enter your senior year at Highlands or move on to the next chapter of your life after graduating Highlands, I would like to share a quick quote with you by former Navy SEAL Jocko Willink. In fact, the quote is only a single word. And hopefully it can help you the next time you face an unexpected challenge. And that word is good. Whenever he faced adversity on the battlefield or in life, his response was always good. For example, you may think, I can't see my friends at school because we're in this virtual environment. And I just don't learn as well as I'd like in this virtual environment. Considering adopting his mindset of good. Now I'll be able to appreciate learning in a classroom all the more once I have the opportunity to do so. Or good, now I get to connect with family members who I haven't been able to connect with had I been in school in a regular schedule. Seniors, next year you get stuck with a roommate who you just don't get along with. Consider adopting the mindset once again of good. This will give me an opportunity to practice interacting with people with whom I don't get along. And that'll be a valuable skill that I can carry with me for the rest of my life. This simple affirmation empowers us to take control over our circumstances and turn a negative situation into a positive one. So the next time you face a challenge in life, I'd invite you to adopt that mindset of good. 5 students who I know have adopted that mindset from day one this school year are this year's National Honor Society officers. Jana Reichert is our president. She has done a tremendous job throughout the year of being a proactive leader who has looked for solutions rather than dwelling on all of the problems and unexpected obstacles we faced as an organization this year. Jana's leadership style is defined by hard work, as she truly does lead by example. I was so glad to have such a talented and diligent president during a challenging year who was able to brainstorm and come up with so many new and creative ways for members to remain engaged during the pandemic. This year's vice presidents are Inez Kim and Ryan Yu. The vice presidents are some of the unsung heroes of the National Honor Society. Inductees, all of you who have participated or served as a tutor in our NHS peer tutoring program, know just how smoothly that program runs, and that's due in large part to the hard work of Inez and Ryan behind the scenes. This year's secretary is Roshan Ramamurthy, who has done a tremendous job of ensuring that he is able to keep accurate records and communicate effectively with our membership. This is particularly important during a year in which we're unable to have face-to-face meetings as we typically do. And last but not least, Kate Darling served as our treasurer this year. Although there were no events in which we fundraised, as we chose to focus on hands-on yet safe activities for our members to remain engaged in the community during this pandemic, Kate was more than willing to help plan our food drive, as well as other charitable events that we were engaged in. Thank you to all of the officers for their service. I'd now like to invite our president, Jana Reichert, to say some words.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Jana Reichert, and I am the National Honor Society President for the class of 2021. I would first like to start by congratulating all NHS members in both the class of 2021 and the class of 2022. The group you have been selected to represent is founded on dedication and participation, which each and every one of you have very clearly demonstrated. This year, despite the difficulties of COVID-19, our members have been partaking in more service opportunities than ever before. For the class of 2021, we decided to reduce the total required hours from 15 to 10 in order to accommodate all of our members during this time. Our members have done everything from teaching virtual CCD classes to building shelters to volunteering at hospitals. Additionally, our members have taken advantage of the service opportunities that we have offered, which included donating canned foods to the Center for Food Action, writing letters to the children at hospitals through our Cards for Kids program, and also communicating with seniors living at the Brandywine Senior Living Center through our Pen Pal program. In total, we donated 425 pounds of food in just one food drive and wrote over 150 letters to both organizations. Class of 2021, we are so proud of all of your accomplishments and can't wait to see the success of the class of 2022. Thank you again, and I would like to now introduce our vice presidents, Ryan Yu and Inez Kim.
Thanks, Jana. Hi, I'm Inez.
And I'm Ryan. We're the vice presidents of NHS, and just like Jana said, we would like to congratulate and welcome all of our new NHS members. As vice presidents, our job is to run the NHS peer tutoring program, which is one of the main ways that NHS members serve the Northern Highlands community.
Through this program, NHS members volunteer their time to tutor Highlands students who are in need of academic assistance. In previous years, tutors and students would typically meet face-to-face for their tutoring sessions. However, this past year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we were not able to run our program in the same way.
Fortunately, thanks to both NHS members and students, we've been able to smoothly transition from in-person tutoring sessions to online and virtual tutoring sessions, and our program has continued to progress. So far this year, our NHS members have tutored over 80 students for a total of 225 hours.
We truly want to congratulate all of our members for making this possible, for your contribution to the program, and for your dedication to your peers and the school community. Once again, to all the new members, congratulations and welcome.
And now we would like to welcome our Secretary, Roshan.
Thank you, Ryan and Inez. My name is Roshan Ramamurthy, and I'm the Secretary for the National Honor Society. Firstly, I want to start by congratulating the newest members from the class of 2021, class of 2022 on their induction. As a Secretary, I am responsible for keeping a record and spreadsheet of all active members and their hours of service. Currently, we have 242 members, 130 coming from the class of 2021, and 112 coming from the class of 2022. Our outstanding members of the Highlands NHS chapter have accrued around 600 hours in only months of service. During this unprecedented time, communication has been more imperative than ever. To keep up with this, we've been using email to consistently keep in contact with them, as well as also using Canvas for important calendar information and forms for community service. Again, I'd like to congratulate the newly inducted 2 classes to the NHS, and with this, I'd like to introduce our treasurer, Kate Darling.
Thank you, Roshan. My name is Kate Darling, and I am the NHS Treasurer for National Honor Society. First, I want to congratulate and welcome all new NHS members and the class of 2021 on their induction. Usually, I would list how much money we've made from fundraisers. However, because of these unusual times, I've been keeping track of our donations. We have had several volunteer opportunities, from hosting food drives to writing opportunities. 150 cards were donated to each organization, cards for kids, and to senior citizen pen pals. Also, we hosted a food drive during Thanksgiving where 425 pounds of food was delivered. Although these times are difficult, NHS is finding a way to engage all students and community. I would like to thank all members for their cooperation during this time and 2021 on the amazing accomplishments they've made thus far. I would also like to congratulate and welcome the class of 2022.
Each year, there is a tradition of the seniors who have been inducted to choose the next guest speaker for the next induction ceremony. The NHS members of the class of 2020 chose Mr. Gornell to be the guest speaker at the next induction ceremony, which has been postponed until now. Mr. Gornell has been one of the most supportive and involved teachers I've known, and has always been able to make class as fun as possible, from freshman world history to AP human geography. With that, I would like to now introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Gornell.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm still a little confused about whether or not I won the majority of the popular vote for guest speaker, but Mr. D'Elia explained that I did win the Electoral College, so here I am. Thinking about this speech, I came up with a dozen different themes. As Honor Society advisor, I heard many great speeches on integrity and self-reliance, perseverance, honor, the value of hard work, so many other things. Tonight, I'd prefer to chart my own path and to retrace an old one. I considered speaking about one of the 4 pillars of the Honor Society: leadership, service, academic achievement, citizenship. But you're all here already. You must have a pretty good grip on these if you are being inducted here tonight. In fact, a talk about the values of hard work or perseverance or integrity or honor or believing in yourself, any of these things, would probably not be anything new for you. So I'm going to go in a different direction. This is not to discount any of those values, okay? Leadership, service, integrity, self-reliance, perseverance, honor, citizenship, they're all essential values for success. Remember that. But I want to bring up another one. I've observed that the best speeches reached into the canon of great American classics for a quote, so I will start there too. In the original Star Wars movie, Luke just shot and destroyed his first TIE fighter, and he was very proud and he cheered, "I got him, I got him." It's the words that came next from Han Solo that I want you to remember this evening. He said, "Great, kid, don't get cocky." Don't get cocky. There's wisdom in Solo's admonition. Let me tell you a story about someone who got cocky and still regrets it. To protect his identity, let's call him an everyman name, I don't know, John. So John went to college. He sang in the university chorus. The university chorus went on a tour in France and Italy late one spring after classes had finished. They traveled in France and Italy. They sang with a European symphony that played Beethoven's Ninth. The final movement in Beethoven's Ninth has a choral accompaniment. The audiences were very receptive and very enthusiastic for these American college kids singing in German. When the American sang these folk songs and spirituals for their encores, the audiences roared with applause. So John thought he was pretty special. The tour had a tight schedule of shows, but there were a few days off here and there. A day off typically meant sleeping in and then exploring the town or city that afternoon. The students usually stayed in hotels or hostels or dormitories, but this one time they were spread out in the community in family host stays. So this one time, after a great performance and a great celebration that ran very late into the hours that night, John crashed out at his homestay with a couple other baritones with the expectation of a lazy following morning. These young men were unpleasantly surprised in the pre-dawn hours of the morning when their hosts woke them up. They did not speak any English, but it was clear that no one was sleeping in. Everyone needed to get up, get dressed, and get out urgently. John was not happy. Do these people not know the drill? Days off are for sleeping in. Instead, they're being ordered up and out in the middle of the night like it's some bizarre midnight prison transfer. The three young American men were crammed into the back of a vehicle with a back seat designed for, at the most, 2 legless passengers. And off they drove into the darkness. The host couple were older, probably old enough to have grandchildren. John didn't bother to find out. Besides, they didn't speak English anyway. They were generous to offer a nice place to sleep for the night, but he did not need anything else from them, or so he believed. John's bitterness began to build as the three men, crushed in this backseat, lurched from side to side as the car wound its way along a very twisty mountain road. When the car finally stopped, the old man jumped out and led everyone to what looked like a bus station. But it was still dark and it was closed. Looking out over a mostly empty parking lot, John could barely make out the steel gray sky above the black wall of the line of trees. What were we doing here? We could be sleeping in. John's anger was building. Soon a ticket window lit up and the old man was buying tickets. The tickets were for an aerial tram. After a 15-minute wait, the three men and their elderly host stepped onto the tram and up they went. The sky had warmed by now from a steel gray to a battleship gray. Within minutes, this tram was completely shrouded in the clouds. Nothing was visible through the windows. John's resentment was increasing from simmer to gentle boil at this point. Then the tram reached its terminus. Everyone stepped out of the tram. The whole place was fogged in. Yuck. But the old man walked with purpose to another ticket window where he started buying more tickets. John was thinking, doesn't this guy get it? There is nothing to do here. There is nothing to see here. We should be back in the village eating baguettes and cheese. Or better yet, sleeping. On the next tram, John could not contain himself anymore. He took out his camera and started taking pictures in the dimly lit tram, out the windows into the immense grayness, which was now a few shades lighter than before. It was about 5:45, so the sun must have been coming up, and he said, "Ooh, get a picture of this. Look at that gray over there. We don't have fog in New York. Ooh, get a picture of me over here, more gray." John was really being a jerk. The cloud blanket enveloping the tram car began to get lighter and lighter, and for a few seconds it looked cottony white. Then suddenly the tram broke through the cloud cover. The view to the sky was limitless. To the east, the sun just rising above the horizon illuminated the spectacular Alps, creating dramatic contrasts between jagged peaks and shadows. To the west, the sky was still a very dark cobalt blue, a color that he kind of really never saw before. The richness of the blue transition from dark to light was absolutely breathtaking. And beneath it all was this fluffy carpet of white. It was truly an extraordinary sight. For John, it was unlike anything he had ever seen before. We don't have Alps in New York. He had one photo left on his camera, and the picture didn't quite capture the majesty of the scene. John was cocky that morning. He thought he knew everything, and he rejected the idea that someone else had some wisdom that could offer him a great reward. Being self-assured and confident is good, but not if it costs you opportunities, not if it closes you out from good experiences. So it's okay to be a little humble. There are people in your life who will offer valuable advice. Listen to your parents. Listen to your grandparents. Listen to your teachers. Have some faith in their wisdom and take a chance now and then that something you don't quite understand may turn out to be a valuable experience. You might discover something wonderful. Now, I have one more piece of advice which I would like to share with you, and I feel very strongly about it, and it's a little more specific than my mountaintop story here. When you go to college, don't take courses. Take professors. Talk to the upperclassmen, find out who the most interesting professors are, and take their classes, whatever they're teaching. This is especially true for distribution requirements. Chances are, once you've chosen your major, you will have to take whatever that major demands, but then a few classes outside of that major in other disciplines. In other words, you might be on a business management track, but you still have to take an English class. Or you might major in history and have to take a science class or two. Or maybe you're pre-med and you have to take an arts class. The freedom you have in choosing those distribution requirement classes is a great opportunity to find some of the most interesting classes that you might take in your college experience. They might be out of your comfort zone, but they could be very engaging because of a great teacher. And that's all I got. Thanks for listening, and good luck.
The following students will be inducted as a part of tonight's ceremony. From the class of 2021, Haley Actas, Shania Actas, Paul Albarella, Daniel Anderson, Hannah Apsey, Mark Apsey, Alexander Argyros, Emily Bakos, Emily Bayless, Sarah Renee Bacall, Naira Balbanian, Margaret Battenhorst, Michelle Bechtel, Todd Bechtel, Laura Benvenisti, Siddharth Bhatia, Rebecca Beebe, Justin Bildner, Victoria Booth, Julia Boyagian, Cassidy Boyle, Bridget Buchowski, Hunter Cabrera, Bella Calcara, Tyler Castellino, Liam Cassidy, Amanda Castellano, Emily Cespedes, Jacob Chen, Ethan Chrisen, Megan Cornacchia, Molly Cunningham, Kate Darling, Flora Dedvukai, Aidan DeGoyer, Apara Dada, Andrew DeGisi, Kimberly Edelson, Ariana Eftimu, Kira Eski, Nina Evans, Barbara Evdokimova, Jake Fishman, Cassidy Fishman, Mary Claire Flynn, Elizabeth Fursetto, Laura Granada, Andrew Haas, Matthew Hamra, Colin Haskell, Sina Hazegi, Brian Hayo, Gregory Hermo, Margaret Higgins, Michael Horkin, Noreen Hosney, Matthew Jacob, Stephen Johnson, Vivian Jones, Mariko Kemidoy, Zoe Kearney, Annie Kelly, Matthew Kirsting, Inez Kim, Jamie Kim, Jessica Lappinson, Ellen Lee, Shania Lee, Sydney Lindbergh, Michelle Ling, Chloe Lasaro, Nicola Lutri, Ava Lyons, Bryn Madonna, Jacob Makovsky, Shanzay Malik, Leah Mancino, Michael Martucci, Catherine McFerrin, Kenna McGarren, Hunter Menzel, Catherine Menton, Macy Moran, Miles Mortimer, Victoria Moya, Skylar Newsham, Sydney Newsham, Paul Nonas, Esme Oler, Matthew Onufrak, Samantha Papalia, Stephanie Papalia, Devin Perret, Olivia Pettinato, Ryan Phillips, Amanda Pittman, Roshan Ramamurthy, Sajan Ramamurthy, Ariel Rivette, Anish Ravuri, Anaya Raoult, Sarah Rigo, Yana Reichert, Melissa Reifman, Christopher Richards, Kiara Riley, Luke Robertiello, Julian Rosenberg, Ellie Ryan, Sanya Sadarangani, Carrie Santangelo, Ella Santoro, Rachel Shames, Victor Shea, Alan Shen, Vanessa Schoenholtz, Sora San, Cameron Stecklenburg, Isabel Sung, Alyssa Talmo, Isabella Toriani, Veronica Toriani, Juliet Voskian, Nicole Wainland, Brooke Wallace, Michaela Walsh, Jordan Weinberger, Sydney Wiener, Catherine Weiss, Ryan Yu. The following students from the class of 2022 will be inducted: Ava Abatiello, Thomas Alarcon, Ayana Amin, Ethan Augustine, Christopher Basich, Ava Basso, Molly Bennett, Alexandra Biondo, Hannah Blacker, Hannah Blankman, Caroline Bodner, Mia Bonsignori, Julia Boydell, Jacob Carlin, Victoria Chan, Irene Chen, Elise Choi, Joshua Chistaka, Abigail Chu, Emma Shokan, Oliana Coelho, Timothy Conlon, Brandon Cookson, Devin Cookson, Haley Davis, Julie Dictas, Amanda Doan, Amanda Ellis, Harrison Flynn, Samantha Fox, Naden Fromberg, Kelly Fuchs, Alexandra Giacominakis, Richard Golden, Ann Gosen, Kate Gosen, Julia Guarnaccia, Brent Gunderson, Samantha Hartman, Sydney Hintz, Sarah Holden, Catherine Horkin, Jad Giahayel, Kieran Kadakia, Jane Kala, Owen Canning, Jeffrey Kang, Agatha Kim, Jack Kim, Joshua Kim, Matthew Kim, Jack Clarish, Rachel Koo, Jack Kraus, Caitlin Kunish, Alexa Lanzalotti, Nicholas Lardieri, Sebastian Leal, Allison Lee, Jared Lee, Tate Lee, Samantha Lever, Jack Levy, Mai Liu, Derek Madonna, Maris Mancino, Hannah Matthew, Christine Miatov, Romy Mindich, Savannah Moody, Bronson Moses, Aidan Mulvey, Thomas Nemec, Sophia Neuendorf, Claire O'Connor, Kaylin O'Connor, Lauren Orr, Esther Park, Haley Pataki, Ty Pennington, Jeanette Pashka, Alyssa Post, Michaela Powell, Jessica Riley, Bianca Rigg, Lucas Santiago, Sydney Schildener, Rebecca Sherman, Benjamin Scrivenich, Kirsten Scrow, Nicole Seltman, Samantha Senior, Kurtum Shah, Caitlin Shang, Christina Shi, Daniel Shirley, Sergey Singh, June San, Brendan Stock, Haley Thomas, Claire Trainer, Mitsuki Uehara, Erman Ural, Rachel Vandelinda, Ruby Vanderhyde, Akshita Verdi, Evelyn Wang, Emily Wolf, Tiffany Yang, Estelle Yi, William Yu, Yanni Zhuang. These candles represent the 4 pillars of the National Honor Society: scholarship, service, leadership, and character. The 5th candle represents the pledge that inductees make to uphold these principles during their time as members of the National Honor Society. I am confident that upon making this pledge, candidates will continue to demonstrate excellence in all 4 areas. I'd now like to welcome our principal, Mr. Ochino, to make some remarks for our brand new inductees, as well as to lead the pledge for the candidates. Mr. Ochino?
Thank you, Mr. D'Elia, and good evening to all who are viewing our National Honor Induction Ceremony from the comfort of your home. We believe that this virtual induction ceremony will still capture the purpose of the evening and that is to recognize this group of academically gifted students. This year's induction of 242 juniors and seniors includes, as you heard, those we were unable to recognize last year due to COVID-19 and the stay-at-home order. On behalf of our Board of Education, administration, directors, supervisors, and faculty, welcome parents, relatives, friends, students, and National Honor Society inductees. Before we recite the National Honor Society pledge, I want to say that this ceremony is one of the highlights of my year as we get the opportunity to recognize our highest achieving students. It is an honor and a privilege to be with you as your principal and say, you did it. Your hard work, your dedication, and the sacrifices you made, and there were many sacrifices made over the last year, are the reasons why you are being recognized tonight. I also want to thank those people who I am sure are influential in your life. Thank you, parents, for your guidance and nurturing. Not only have our students made sacrifices, but so have you. I like to believe that they appreciate what you have done for them and what you will continue to do. Usually at this time, I ask our inductees to give our parents a round of applause, but you're not here with me tonight to do that. Better served that you actually give your parents a hug because they're sitting right next to you. To our teachers and counselors, thank you for your endless hours of preparation, ability to get the most out of your students, and passion for being an educator. Mr. D'Elia, we thank you for your dedication to this chapter of the National Honor Society. And of course, to our National Honor Society inductees, we are grateful for your dedicated hours of study, community service, leadership, and high moral standards. You have exemplified students who have a passion for life, a passion for learning, and a passion for being the best that you are capable of becoming now and in the future. But above all else, we admire you for your resilience during a time that presented a myriad of challenges and difficulties. At this time, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Mr. Nadell, Mr. Pastor, Mr. Kubicki, and Mr. Madavasserol, who had an instrumental part in making this virtual ceremony a reality. Let me assure every one of you that you deserve this and much more. Take your achievement and cherish it. Stay committed to your goals and keep reaching for the stars. However, always remember, take time for yourself, unwind, and just be a kid. Thank you. And now it's time to recite the National Honor Society pledge. Although you are not here with me right now, you are at home with your parents, so I ask that you recite this pledge with me in front of your parents. Here we go. I pledge to uphold the highest purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been elected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. I will be loyal to my school, and I will maintain and encourage high standards of character, scholarship, leadership, and service. Congratulations, inductees.
This concludes tonight's induction ceremony. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the rest of your evening.